Good afternoon. I see a few people popping on, so announce yourself if you could, just so I know who's here. Michelle. Hi, Michelle. Good to have you join. Have you been on one of our journaling adventures before? I can't remember. It's a beautiful day here in Nova Scotia, and we are getting it into the gardening season, so I'm not sure how many people will have joining. I find for the majority of my posts, people watch after the fact, which is perfectly okay. I am casting a shadow just because of the way the light's coming in my window, so you can see it when I move inward. What is the name and the size of the journal book you're using? It is a Dylusions, and I believe it's 9 by 9. Hi, Judy. And I know other people have asked Heather to get them in, so if you want to check with her. Oh, you caught them? Perfect. Oh, you do love them? Well, that's so nice for you to say. So I did a post a few hours ago just to let you know that I was doing some prepping, just so that hopefully we can get right into it and start laying down things. So what I did is I went ahead and I cut all the papers, because there's parts of the gel press papers that we printed on that there was sections more appealing than others, so I cut the sections that were really nice to my eye, and these are the ones that we'll be using to lay down on our paper. And then the other half, so it pretty much was like half a sheet of each one, the other half I decided I was going to pre-cut some images. I think we need to take our journaling now to the next level. So the first 3 months we focused in on just actually the journaling process and gel prints and just laying paper down. But now I want you to really think about how you can use your stash of dies, especially into your journaling art, and you just have to give it a little bit of thought. So this is kind of our color palette that we chose for April. Hi Erin, so good to see you. And so that this is April. To me, April is about things sprouting, so like leaves, birds. The birds have been going crazy. They're coming in from winter and they're all hungry. So birds, feathers, that sort of thing. And then I knew I wanted some, and it's challenging when you're doing your journal art because you don't want dimension going up like thick because you want to be able to close your book. So you're creating dimension in other ways, whether it's with layers of paint or inks, rub-ons, or things that you're going to glue right down to your paper that doesn't really have much depth. But that will create this imagery or vision of depth on its own. So I love All and Create, and I did scoop up the dies when they first come in. So I just wanted to show you what they look like cut. And what's really fascinating about these dies is you get these jaggedy edges. So right off, I know I'm going to use tags in some fashion on this spread. I'm not sure if it's going to be these tags, but I'm definitely going to cut these jaggedy edges up and use it like you would a border punch. And that's just going to give a lot of interest on the page because there's nothing consistent with the jaggedy bits. And then you get all these extra things like some labels. This could be like, tab, There's some speech bubbles, another little label, a circle, a tinier circle, a star, like a little baby circle. So you get all these things with these dies. So this is one of them. This is number 30. So I'm just going to lay my little pieces to the side. So that's number 30. I cut it out in blue. This one's 31. So all the things, and I just love that sheet that we did with the yellow and the numbers. So you get all these little bits, and look at this. It almost looks like Village or something to me. They are awesome dies, Jennifer. I absolutely love them, and they're just so versatile. And you get this like little dial thing. You get the not exclamation point, but the comma, and then you get all kinds of labels. You get this little wonky flag shape, little heart, another speech bubble. So that's 31. This one is for cards, and I actually used it in card class that we did not too long ago, so you might have seen this one. But this one has like the card size, but these little splats, they're representative of ink splats. And I love circles. I know Heather says they make her sick, but I love circles. So you can use this one as is, or you can cut it apart and have like some repeating circles. And I used my darkest color for this one, so like there's some little splats or paint splats. And here's another circle that come from there. There's another like circle. So it's just, I love them because it's unlimited. You can just pop these things on your page, your card, your scrapbook layout, your journal, and it just adds dimension instantly. So this one here is number 33. And the last one that I have, I'm just going to put this to the side. I'm trying to put it somewhere so that I don't lose all the bits with it. And this is the last one. This is number 29. So some like big circles, and they cut so nice. Like this is the Big Shot that I have. And I was watching Heather's post of the new Gina K machine, and I thought, oh dear Lord, because my Big Shot is old, like it's the handle, all the rubber is peeling off of the handle because I've used it so much, and I know there's something weird going on in the inside because kind of it's grinding because sand or pieces of fine plastic is kind of coming out of the handle. So I know I'm going to need a new one at some point. So there's this one and all its little bits. So we have like the inner and the outer, this label, this speech bubble, this little whatever that is, another cute little tab that you can use to put it on the top of something, little stars, little hearts, and like the stars cut out. So you get the outer and then you get the inner, and it's just like wonky shapes. So those are those dies, and I do love them, and I wanted to point them out because I will be using some form of them today. The other thing that I cut out, I die cut, is, and I don't know if I'll use any of these, I think I will, and I just did it with scraps, all kinds of different colors, is the Tim Holtz birds. So this one's a nice die, and I just did a bunch of different shaped birds, and they go in different directions. So I'll put them off to the side. And what I really like by doing this in the moment is I don't have any leftovers from our gel print session. Like I kept my scraps just in case I needed a little bit to shove in here or there. But I think I'm going to start doing this moving forward, is just die cutting, and then I'll have extra die cuts kicking around when I need something. And this is the feathers, and I love the feathers. So I did some in the yellow pattern and the darker one, and this was like that It was almost like transparent. So in case we want just a little bit of white or cream color. So we have some feathers. So that's all the die cuts that I have. I did prep my page. Oh, look, see? I lost one of the little funky stars and the little dot from the blue one. Gotta put that back. Hi, Judy. Nice of you to join us. So we're just getting into what I did to prep. So I did my journaling. I put just one layer of gesso down. So as I was saying yesterday, I really kind of want to try to do more kind of white space. And when I say white space, it just means leaving areas not completely white, but just more flowy and more open than what I typically do. I tried it on this page, and you know, but when you get with your inks and your sprays, it kind of blends. So I did whitewash this out some, and I do like the way that this one turned out. But my two other pages are pretty full. Like that one's pretty full, and I love them, but I'm just wanting to try something different. And this one here is pretty full. So for this one, I'm feeling like I'm going to try to go up the page this way and leave these areas more open. Now, I'm still going to put product on them. I'm still going to put stuff on it, maybe some stenciling, but I'm going to try not to do too much inking in this area. I might put some more gesso on just to white out the words a little bit more, because I don't want anybody reading my journaling. It's kind of my private thoughts, and I just know they're there, and it's really therapeutic just to do that and get them out. If you haven't already, if you are playing along, just get a piece of copy paper and put it in between each of your pages, just so that you protect the paper that's underneath. And let's get going. Okay, now how am I going to start this? I know I want to lay paper down. And these are all my options for paper. So these are them there. And I'm going to put them to the side, but I think I want some of this dark color in right away. And I'm going to make sure that I take bits from each pile. So I'm just going to push them over to the side. I do have my angle punch on the ready in case I want to do tags out of any of this paper, and my hole punch. So I have that on the ready. So I think I'm just going to start by laying down a piece right here, and I'm just going to rip it. I'll rip it on both ends just to fit within. Now you want to make sure that you can close, so be mindful of that. I won't throw those away right yet. And I use, it's a matte medium that I use. This bottle's almost empty. The one I had in my stash to go next is a Liquitex. I know Heather has some in the store that's a different brand, so feel free to grab some of that. And I like the matte versus glossy because I just don't like gloss. Hi, Diane. You're drinking your coffee, keeping kitties from tearing the house apart. Good luck with that. So as long as your glue dries clear, and if you like a gloss, you go for it. You can get matte medium that's glossy. I just prefer matte. And I put it on the back side, and I also put it on the front. So once this dries, it kind of protects it, it seals it, so that you can dump other products on top of it, but it's not going to get soaked into this paper. So that's important. So we got a black piece there. And like I said, I want to come down this way, so I think I'm going to keep those two pieces there. But I do like this one with the numbers. So maybe I'll do that. And already I'm thinking, well, I said I was going to keep this part clear, but already I'm kind of in this area, so I just never know what I'm going to do. And as usual, I'm not sure we'll get it completely done. I like to play and trace and, like, you know, do fiddly bits towards the end of the journaling session. And I don't usually capture that on camera just because it takes me a while. Sometimes I have to walk away from it, especially if we put a lot of medium down on the paper. It's kind of best to let it air dry before you continue on too much. And I do have my dry tool at the ready, but I really don't like drying it crisp because it does warp and it does funny things to your paper. Now that's really dark, so I want to go down with something more light and airy. So I think I will just continue on like this. Anybody playing with me? Anybody doing art of any kind? I'm curious to see if anybody has actually got on the bandwagon and started the monthly journals. And you don't have to like go backwards and try to catch up. You just start your year from wherever you're at. I didn't get all the auction. I had some family stuff going on at the same time as just watching because I need a few more pulls. Totally get it. But have you started it, Judy? I think you've told me that you've started doing your journal pages. And as always, I would love pictures. So if you want to send me a private message, I will post your pictures for you under my class, if anybody wants to share. And there is a little bit of bleeding going on from the ink that's within the pulls, and that's perfectly okay, the paint. I'm going to go down and play with my gel printing in a little bit. I finished my marking, and you have inspired me. Oh, thanks, Diana. That's the whole point of doing this, right? So anyway, yesterday, getting back to the auction, oh my gosh, the stuff and ridiculous prices. It's just blew me away. All the generous offerings. I got the book from Heather a few weeks back and all set. I just need a couple of more colors from the card. 100%. Go at your own speed. I do like this blue. So now I'm going to start coming in on a different angle. Yeah, so I was saying I had some family stuff going on, so I'd be on the auction and then I'd get an important text from family that I'd have to answer, and I'd have to get off the auction, and then I'd try to get back on and I'd be behind, and I did try to bid on a few things, but I didn't get them. But that's alright, it's not like I need it. But you just get all hyped up because it's such great deals. Now already I have to pay attention because see what I'm doing? I'm not paying attention. I said I was going to leave white space here and here, and already I'm infringing on my white space. So I'm cut off. I can put stuff this way. I'm cut off here. I still got some room up here. You guys are going to have to yell at me. I stuck my nose into the auction and said, nope, you have to get this marking done. It was something. It was, when people got into it, I found there were, like, the energy wasn't as high as past auctions last night, so I don't know if people were just caught up in stuff like myself or what the dealio was, but it did eventually get going really good. But yeah, the energy was a little low last night. So if people are finding that it's not the greatest time to do them, please let Heather and Dan know, because they have them at night. I think they had them, they switched them from like a Saturday afternoon to an evening because they got some feedback saying that, oh, I'm working and I can't participate, so they thought the evenings might be better. So do let them know if that's not the case. I like these color palettes. Yeah, it's a beautiful day here in Nova Scotia today. We weren't supposed to get the sun. It rained terribly through the night, and that's what we were supposed to get during the day, but it's quite nice out. Judy, I really like your idea of journaling under the pages as well. Great way to get thoughts out and then cover them up. 100%. Because, like, it's great to get them out. It's great to get them down on paper. But most times, and there's happy stuff in here too. There's all kinds of happy stuff. But, like, there's some not so happy stuff. And when I look at this page, I will know, because it's what I journal is what's happened within that month. So I will know what's happened within that month. So this page will kind of hold even a more special place for me. Okay, where are we at? I know we got to get some of this down, but we got a little bit of yellow going on there. We got the blue. We do have some more of this, but I'm feeling like we need a little bit more darker. And I really tried today not to pull my Distress inks, because those are my favorite to mess with, but I did pull the Distress crayons because I want to see if I can get them to move the same way I do my inks. So I'm excited for that. If you hear some noise, I have windows open and my husband is outside doing some yard stuff. But we don't have any pets except a very old cat. And I think she's actually out basting in the sun. I'd like to get this first layer down before I pull my drawing tool out. My page is getting kind of wet, but it's this glue that's doing it. I'm just looking at different pieces. Anybody have any exciting plans for the summer? I think I've told you this before. My summer is here in my backyard. We do a lot of planting, like flower planting. I've tried vegetables. I'm not really stuck on growing vegetables. I do have an asparagus patch and I have a garlic patch, which I really like. I love growing herbs, so I'll usually get that going. But vegetables, we have a great market here locally every week, so I don't feel like I have to grow my own vegetables, and I don't really get that much joy out of it. I tried it last year and got some things that appealed to me, like some of the baby onions, but the rest was, yeah, it's alright. So I don't think I'll waste my energy on vegetables. But we did make 3 new beds for dahlias. I had dahlias last year, and when you pull them suckers up for the winter, dang, they multiply. So we had to find a space for them, and I just hope they survive the winter where we have them. I haven't pulled them out yet to separate them, because you have to wait until your last frost and all that good stuff, which for us isn't until June. I usually cheat though and go a little bit before the frost date. Okay, I really like that paper. Okay, I think I'm going to dry that. I'm going to put my brush to soak because you don't want your matte medium getting in there. And I have a frog in my cup. And I don't know if you guys know what frogs are. And they're vintage. I have 3 vintage ones here. But a frog is the thing that floral people used to put in the bottom of their pots or planters to hold flowers upright before that fake foamy stuff ever came into play. So this is a frog. It's got sharp nails, sharp things, trying to get out of the shadow here, but I really like it in the bottom of my cup because it allows me to brush up onto it and it cleans my brushes very well. So I'm going to put that back in my cup. I am a vintage freak. You'll get to know me as we move forward. But vintage, repurposing, that's my jam. And that's why I think I migrate to all the mixed media stuff. Okay, let's get some drying done. Oh, lost some water on my paper. And we don't want to bake this, we just want to kind of get it a little bit dry so we can move forward. The other paint I pulled, because as I was telling you yesterday what was available at Younique as far as paints, I said the Finnabar is real good, but don't get the liquid acrylics. Well, this is a liquid acrylic, and it's extremely liquid, but it's really good, and it's very high pigmented, that if you put some layers down and you just want it to free flow into crevices, it's great for that. So I pulled them out. I don't know if I'll use them, but I pulled out a few colors. Okay, so we got that down. So like we're creating these layers, and that's kind of what I get into and trace at the end to give it that dimension. So like all these little ridges, that's really what I look for when I'm going in with my pencils or crayons. Vintage Antiques Gardening. No wonder we get along so well, Sherry. 100%. That is my jam. So I'm just going to put the cover on that just so that it doesn't dry out. And I'm going to pull some of these tags down. And I'm going to see if I can use these ones. I'm going to go ahead and punch a hole in my tag because I want it to look like an actual tag. And I may not be dead on center. I'm okay with that. And I don't want them to be that long. So I am going to, so there's a couple of things we can do. We can fold them over, have a little pocket, and then have something coming out of the pocket. That wouldn't cause too much dimension. And as I'm thinking about it, I'm talking out loud. Or we could just cut it off altogether. And I can't really put this one down right here because this one's here. But I might be able to incorporate it in a minute. So I'm going to take my blue one. I'm going to pop a hole in it. And I think I will just take my scissors and chop this one off. I'll leave them out. And this piece I'll just put aside for now. Oh, I like that. And I may not even stick it down all the way because I'm still not going to put pop dots or anything under there. But when the page opens, it may just lift a little bit so that we can see what's underneath there. Kind of like that idea. So there's one, there's another. I got kind of a greeny one over here. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to chop this off. And I don't have any of this one. I didn't put any of this down because I found like I was getting enough layers as it was. Oh, I think I like that. I think I like where this is going. Oh, those are the, yes, Diane. You weren't here when I kind of showcased all the lovely dies that we're working with and all the itty bitty pieces. You wait until we start putting the along the edge stuff down. I think you're gonna like it. And I know, like, as we go, we kind of cover up other bits of paper that we put down, and it's like, well, why did you even bother putting it there? It's just all part of journaling. You put it down, you might end up covering it, but don't fret. Don't, if it's something that, like, if it's a piece that you really, really like, don't cover it. There's really no rhyme or reason. And I think I like that one there. So I do like threes. You just ordered 2 of the tags. I already had the splotch one. Yeah, Judy, they are fantastic. And for me, dies is real estate. They're never going to go out of style. They're so versatile, and you can even use them like you can cut. You can get enough of a cut even with the thin dies that if you wanted to cut into felt or fabric, it would probably start it enough that you would see the line and then could go over it again with scissors. So I love dies. And I do own a lot of dies. Sometimes I get rid of them, but it's usually ones that aren't generic like the ones I've showed you. I very highly doubt if I'll ever get rid of those ones. So I'm going to glue it down, all except the very end. For now, I'm just going to kind of let it flip up. In the end, I might glue it down. Maybe I won't like that little flippy, dippy part. But right now, I'm just going to leave it. But I am gluing on top and underneath. Oops. So it's just my husband at home today. My daughter's usually here, but she's gone away. So we just had pizza for lunch. I made a pizza. I didn't want to cook. We normally have like a larger Sunday dinner, but not so much in the summer. We kind of tone it down in the summer. Just going to put that one there. And just be careful when you're getting close to your creases, like push them in there. Make sure that you can fold your book. And don't be shy. Like once I'll leave things get really dry. Like I'll wait a couple of days before I even close the book, because this stuff, even though when you touch it, it feels dry, it keeps some tack because we're putting a lot of gel medium down there. We're putting a lot of sticky stuff. So I'm rethinking my thought of putting a couple of just little pop squares. It wouldn't put that much dimension, I don't think. No, I'm just going to leave it. Go with your first thought. So now I'm going to take some of these squiggly bits and put them down somewhere. So I'm going to cut them off just in pieces, like if you had a punch, like a punch that made a border. And I'm going to start laying these little bits here and there where it needs some different color. So I'm going to put a little bit of blue here. Saying that there's 7 of you on, but you're all so quiet. And for the Tim Holtz dies, like a little word, the Vault series, those are brilliant. Like, I do have a lot of the Tim Holtz dies that I've purchased along the way, but the fact that he's now doing what's called Vault series, where he's taken favorite bits and pieces from each die and then making a set. There is one, and I don't know if Heather has it in her store, if there's any left, or if it even came in yet, but it has at least one bird in there and a bunch of other stuff. So I think I want to put a little bit of this yellow up against this blue. Isn't that cute? Like, it just creates these fun borders. I like that. This yellow print, this number print that we did, I think that was my favorite. So I'm definitely going to hang on to every bit that I have left of that. Where should I put this one? I want it to stand out, so maybe I'll cut it again. And I'll put one up against this dark. And just for reference for matte medium, like, I've had this bottle probably for 5 years, but I haven't done regular journaling with it neither. I'm sure the next bottle will go lower quicker, but a little goes a long way. I'm going to put this other strip down here. Maybe I'll put it this way, off the blue. This is how I craft, folks. I jiggle and talk to myself, put it there, and then I'm peeling it back up and saying, no, I don't want it there, I want it here. Now I'm going to take the dark one and all those little other bits, I'll wait until we're getting close to being done. I never know what words I want to use until I've done my page and I've had a chance just to let it resonate with me, and then I'll go through my stash and find some words to describe what I'm feeling about the page. But we do have some stamps, and I'm going to show you those that do have some words on them. So I might get something from that. Oh, I think, I don't know if I want to start going over on the edges. What do you think? There's no right or wrong, is there? Like I said, it's going to be more white, but I'm still going to want some things kicking around. So I think I will. I'll put this one along this edge. And because they're so organic, there's no right or wrong way that you can lay them. Which two did you order, Judy? Which two tags did you order? Okay. Now I just have to look around at my stash and see where I want to go to next. I did pull out some rub-ons, but I think I'm gonna the tag ones. Okay, yep. I think I'm going to hang on to my rub-ons closer to the end. So I pulled out the charcoal rub-ons. I think that would look sharp. I think that's going to be my go-to one, and it has all kinds of just shapes and leaves, some flowers and butterflies, but I want to wait for the butterflies and the real flowers into probably May, June, July, August. And then I pulled out this one thinking that that green would kind of resonate with this green, but I'm really feeling the charcoal. We'll see. We shall see. And let me show you what else I pulled out. So in indigo blue, love it, love it, love it. These little stamps are terrific for journaling. Love them. So this is kind of like chicken, well, it is called chicken wire, number 31. This one's cute. It's called Cups, number 50. And I don't know if you guys seen this one. It's called Jolly Boat because it's a dictionary piece. And it has the word jolly, but it also has the word journal. And it has a few other words that really could resonate. But it's just dictionary print. So that's great. I did needed to give you some picking to do tomorrow. Oh, you're talking to Diane. This is another indigo blue, which I said had some words. So it has art, vintage, dream, inspire, and then it has the definitions. So I might choose one of these definitions and stamp it on something else and then use that as my title. I really like this. I'm not sure if we'll have room on this page, if it would show up good, but I like that. I love the handwriting. And then this just looks like, you know, bandage mesh. And this is a Hero Arts one called Map and Ledgers. Just some fun numbers, random numbers in ledgers if you just want to put a little something down. And then one of my favorites from Elizabeth Craft is the tickets and tabs stamped. So I think I'm going to use this for some random numbering. We're going to do some stamping now. And maybe some of these. But first, this isn't white enough for me, so I'm going to clean my brush, put my cover on this, give this a dry, and I'm going to put down some more gesso. And I'm going to use the heavy gesso this time. The first layer was just what I call regular gesso, and then the second layer I'm going to use heavy. Heavy is kind of the texture between regular gesso and modeling paste. But I like that because if I really want to white something out, it does a good job in one layer. Maybe we'll do some ink splats before I put my stamping down, because I want my stamping to be kind of on the top. So I didn't put any glue there, so they're just kind of hanging upright. And you can put like little ribbons or twine, and I might do that. So our next step is going to be some ink. So I pulled crayons. This is just a piece of acetate. These are the stencils that I thought I'd use. I have a little bitty one here. It's a 4x4 stencils, and it has 2 half doilies, so that one's nice. And then I just pulled my Finnabar Stamperia stencils. So we have this one, we have this one, which just looks like cracks, and we have this one. So where my design is going, I'm either going to use this one or this one or both, I think. So I'm going to tuck these over there. It's funny how you can just, as you're moving along. Oh, and I had this one pulled too. It's like a newsprint, but it's really, really fine letters. And I don't think I'll use that one today. That one would be good to do ink blending through. Well, now I just thought maybe we'll do some ink blending through instead of... It's like the brain got popcorn. So I already pulled some colors that match our color wheel here. So we have mustard seed, peeled paint, hickory smoke, lost shadow, rustic wilderness, fossilized amber, speckled egg, weathered wood, broken china, and forest moss. So I'm definitely not using all of these, but I'm going to pull in some, and I'm just looking. I have quite a bit of that yellow, and for someone who does not like bright color, I'm really drawn to that yellow. But I think we should have a little bit of yellow ink over here, and of course maybe down, well, over here for sure, and maybe even down here. But I'm going to start with fossilized amber. And all I'm going to do is scribble on my acetate, and I'm going to be gentle. I don't want my crayon to break in two, but if it does, no big deal. You just put it back in your container and it will still work. So I'm scribbling quite a bit of pigment down on here. Let me see if I can get something under there. So kind of a blob like that. And I'm just going to take a brush, dip it in my water, and put the color right on here. And what I want to see is if I can get kind of the same effect as if I had my ink pad. I'm definitely not going to get the high pigment of like the ink pad, but I think this is going to work. We could put more pigment down. Is this fossilized amber? Yeah. And I'll even wet my tip this time. If you wet it, you get even more pigment down. I'm going to add some more water. And we're just going to dabby-do. Drag it around. Oh, I like that. It's rather subtle. And I'll put a little bit here. Not going to be inky. And I'm going to get just a little bit more, because you know I like to go in threes. And also I need to put a little bit over on this side. I'm going to do some right here. I'm going to give that a dry, but I'm not going to clean my little brush or platform yet because we can use it for splatters. So as you're making ink on your acetate, don't forget to do some splats, but dry it in between. And I'll probably get even more pigment down for my splats. Oh, you know what? I didn't do my gesso. Look at me. Where is my brain today? Oh well, we got some yellow. We practiced. Okay. I'm just going to dab that off because, you know what, I wasn't even thinking right. Love the color palette. I know. It's a nice one, isn't it? Okay. This is my big jar of heavy gesso. And remember my trick of wet a baby wipe. Keep it in the jar when you close it. Okay, what's going on with my sprayer? I think I need to switch out a sprayer. I'll leave it there for a minute. And I think I'm just going to take a palette knife to do this. Because what I want to do is kind of, again, no rhyme, no reason, but just kind of cover up the journaling. At the same time, I want to kind of blur in the lines between the paper and the journal book. And this is the heavy gesso. So I don't want to take all my words away, but I definitely have dulled them down. And we're going to come over here. You can use your fingers, and I'll probably get in my fingers here in a minute just to butt it up against the paper. Or I might take my paintbrush for that. I almost thought about pulling out my black gesso, and then I'm like, nope, can't do that today. But someday, we're going to start with a black platform. That'll be cool. Maybe Halloween for October. Okay, I'm just going to put my palette knife in here, and I'm going to switch it out for my paintbrush. Get my rag. I'm just going to dip it into the gesso. And you just want to soften your lines between the paper and your journaling pad. So it kind of looks like, it makes it look like it's just all blends together. Now I won't go too deep in there. I'm just kind of more focused on the paper that's right up against the bare journal page. I wouldn't recommend buying large jars of this. When I got this is all I could find. But I know Heather has the tubes, which are perfect. I'd rather run out of something than have to throw it away because it's gone too thick. Like this is almost the consistency now of modeling paste. And I've been like really good to put the damp towel in there, but it's like going on 3 or 4 years since I've had this open. So I'm lucky I got that long out of it. And I'll leave it and I'll use it as modeling paste. But eventually it will become too thick even for that. Now you can, because it's a water soluble product, you can add a little bit of water and kind of stir it up and mix it up. But again, that's only going to last so long. And then it starts breaking down the properties of your product. So buy small if you can, use often, and buy new stuff. That's the best scenario. I love throwing away empty jars. I hate throwing away full jars. I don't know if you guys have that problem. But now that we are committed to doing gel printing and journal art every month, like gel press takes up quite a bit of products, then hopefully I'll get better at that. A little bit over here. So I can still see my journaling, just not too much, and we're going to still put some pigment and inks and stuff down. But I like how my lines are getting blurred. And this is, remember, these pages get batshit ugly, pardon my English, before they get pretty. So like I'm going to go in and outline all these edges either with the Tim Holtz crayon and then smudge it, wet it, or I might use my Inktense pencils. You can use regular coloring pencils. You can use markers if you want. It's whatever you have. And if you don't have like colors that match your paper in the form of a pencil or an ink, don't worry about it. Just outline it with something neutral. And a lot of times I never outline with the same color I have anyway. It's usually a darker color because you want it to pop. Okay, a little dry, and then we're going to go back to laying some ink down. I didn't totally cover up my yellow there. So we're just under an hour. We're going on pretty good today. I think it's because of the prep and some thought into it before we started. I kind of had an idea of what I wanted to do. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I show up and I start laying paper down for just because I don't know what else I'm going to do. And that's okay too. But yeah, this is a nice rich color palette. Diana, if you're still on, is Heather having a live tonight, or does anybody know? I haven't been on the Facebook page lately to see if there's a live tonight. Okay, so back to my yellow. I'm going to put some more yellow down. I'm going to wet my pencil. And it's fossilized amber. So it does do the same thing as what you would if you had your ink pad here. It's just a little bit longer in process, but I'm okay with longer. I'm not in any rush. Our next journal class is early in May. I didn't post it yet. Yes, she mentioned yesterday there's a live. Perfect. So I think it's May. I think it's the first Sunday in May, and we're going to be doing our May layout. Oh, see, I like that even more. When you put a heavier layer of gesso, then it kind of really pops those colors versus trying them to show up through just like pencil crayon or pencil marks. So I'm going to dry that, and then we're going to throw some splats down. It's not too wet yet where I have to stop. Usually what makes me stop and just say, okay, I'll post the final look is when it gets too wet and I just can't work anymore without ruining the paper. And that's when you really have to step away and just let it air dry on its own. This is great just to speed things up a little bit, but you can't really, once you start layering your product, like if I had a lot of gesso, if I had some modeling paste down here through stencils, it would bubble the modeling paste. And not that that's a big deal, because that in itself adds texture, but sometimes that's not what I want to happen. So So while I have still a little bit of yellow, I'm going to put even a little more. And lots of water. And a nice round brush for splats is what I find works the best. So this is a number 8 round. And I'm just going to take my finger and tap. And I don't know if you guys can see the water dots going, but I can. The other thing you can do is you can flick right from your paper, but be prepared, it's going to get on other stuff. There's nothing in here that hasn't seen a little ink before. So now I'm going to put that there. I'm going to wipe off my acetate and I'm going to move on to a different color. We're just going to rinse out our paintbrush, and I am going to dry those little splats. I do also have this. It's called white ink. I haven't used it yet, but it is supposed to be really good for making white splatters. So I do have this to the side, but where I'm leaving so much white on this layout, I don't think I'm going to want white splats. If anything, I'm going to be pulling in a darker color here in a minute to give myself some darker splats. So when I look at my color palette up there, I think now I'm going to pull in some green. And I'm not sure which one to use, if it should be peeled paint or the wilderness. I'm going to see what the wilderness one looks like, rustic wilderness. I'm just going to try it right here. I don't think that's the one. I think I'm going to go with the peeled paint. I might use the rustic wilderness for some green splatters though, because it's always nice to have a deeper tone for splatters. I didn't have a deeper yellow out. The other yellow I had out was mustard seed, which is lighter than fossilized amber. And the first time you dip your pencil, it takes a little bit for it to kind of soften, but not too long. Like, I can't wait for these pencils to get down to nubs, where I have to buy new ones. Isn't that awful? But I want to use it. I want to use my stuff. That's my new mantra, crafting mantra for 2024. Use your stuff. So I'm just going to kind of stay in the same areas for my inky. And I think I need a little bit more pigment. So if she's having a live, what's the chances they have new product in? Well, I might have to go take a peek when I'm done. See what's going on over at Younique. So we'll dry that. How's it looking from your angle? I'm liking it. And usually I don't like it at this stage. Now there's a lot of finessing that has to be done. Oh, she did mention All in Create? Newer items? Well. Judy, why did you have to tell me that? I love it. I'm actually going away this weekend coming with my friend. We go away a couple times a year to craft. And I'm taking my big stash that I purchased not too long ago and just playing with it. Normally I load myself down and my expectations of projects is way too high. It's looking good, Diana? Good. But this time I'm gonna focus, create. So I'm looking forward to that. I do have some pictures though. I don't get pictures that often anymore to scrapbook, which is a challenge. I love scrapbooking, but you know, my kids are grown. Neither one of them are big on social media, which I'm happy about. But you don't get very many pictures. So, but I do have a few pictures as of late. So I will have to do some scrapbook layouts, and I'll definitely save those for classes or some sort of inspiration because I don't get to do it much anymore. Oh, I like those darker greener splats. Huh. There. Now I'm going to rub this off. And I feel like we still need, and I know I said white. I was going to leave it white. And I still can go in, if I feel like I haven't left enough white space, I can still go in with gesso and cover up some of the ink a little bit. But maybe white space just isn't who I am. Oh, it's looking cool. Awesome. That is the same process I went through for Scrap Fest Focus. Yes, my friend and I, we have this joke amongst us. How many bags are you taking? I'm taking 3 bags and that's it. And both of us, like, we couldn't fit a mouse in the car, and there's just the 2 of us for like 3 days, and very little luggage amongst us. But of course, you take all of the things. Judy, I'm booked for a week at scrapbooking retreat in the summer. Can't wait. Yes, you do have to pack carefully because it does. You're exhausted dragging. Okay, so what color do you think I need to put in? So like I got the light colors. I want to draw in some of this dark color. And my darkest color that I have out, I think, is Hickory Smoke. I do have Broken China for a blue, but that's going to be a soft blue. I think, and I also have Forest Moss, so I think I'm going to scribble Forest Moss and Hickory Smoke together to see if I can get like a green black. I don't like it. No problem, we just erase our acetate. And I keep, after my classes, I keep putting my acetate in a safe spot. So the next time we come together, I know where I've put it and I don't have to use a new piece. Well, my safe spot is some safe, because Sherry can't remember where her acetate is. The used acetate. Okay, and now I'm going to put some Forest Moss in here. I should have left out my black. But this might get us to where we need to go. Although my inks are close. Let me see if I can reach for my black. So I'm feeling like we need dark, dark. Still going to leave that green in there. That's scorched timber. That's not it. Oh, my black is in a separate case. I keep forgetting. See, Mr. Holtz didn't think about these new colors when he was coming out with them. When he was coming out with the tins to store them in, so I had to take my black out of my tin and store it separate with the white. But I have it. So I'm going to put some black in here, because I do want some dark. Oh, you're going to have a ball, Judy. It sounds beautiful. And instead of squishing ink down, I think what I'm going to do is just put drops like this. Because when I outline, I know I'm going to outline in something dark. Here, all that for a few splats. But it was worth it. And we're going to dry this. Now I have my birds and my feathers, but I have to decide if I'm using and where I'm putting them. I'm definitely using some birds. And then we'll start outlining. And I also have the bits and pieces from, and I know there's some circles here that I definitely want to incorporate. Like this. I just love that. Just as a standalone. And there's even a tinier one. So we can kind of have it going like that. Or crisscrossing. Oh, I like that. And then we have another larger one that I can have down here. I like circles. I know Heather does not like circles. I love circles. And this is on dark paper. Like, doesn't that look like just a black splat? Like, I like that. Just looks like a black paint splat, which is what it's supposed to look like. We have a little one here. There's all kinds. Okay, I think that's it from the black that I want. I don't think I want any more green. There's our yellow flag, which, oh, I think I might put the yellow flag up there. But if I do the yellow flag, then maybe I do want something dark up there as well. This is supposed to be like a brush stroke. But we have other pieces here. I put the brush stroke there like that. Oh, you're liking it, Heather? It's coming. It's still got a ways to go, but it's coming. I am really into the All in Create dies. I love them. So I'll put that one down there. I'll put that one down there. There's some circles. And I know I have some other circles in different colors. And we have a star, like we have a blue star. That will look good there. And I might want to put something blue up here as well, like we can really layer that. And instead of gluing it down, I'll glue the splat, but instead of gluing that down, I think I'll just do a cluster and staple it in. Now the staple's going to come out on the other side, but that's all right. I'm okay with that. Or I could put it on this side so that when I play with this side, I can cover it. I'll have to see what's over there. I'd probably be all right with it. And let's see what kind of birds. So we got the blue, and there's a green star from the green ones. I'm going to put that one up there. Oh, that was you, Diana. No worries at all. I do it all the time. I get in there and forget that I'm on the unique page and I'm starting to do something and it's like, oh, Sherry, you got to get out of there. That's not where you need to be. I'm pulling out the common things. I'm reaching behind me where I put all my little bits. Little star there. I'm really liking this, which scares me because usually I don't like it until I get it outlined. I hope I don't outline it and then ruin it. But hey, it's only paper, right? And I'm going to put this reinforcement over there or over here. Well, I think it looks better on the yellow. Okay, let me get these things down. And because they're tiny, I'm just going to use my little Sweet Petunia glue gun. I'm not sure how I feel about this little sucker yet. I have mixed emotions. Yeah, no, I'm going to have to use my matte medium just because I want to seal it. Yeah, I find my little petunia thing, it's hard to push. So I'm thinking it's the user and not the machine because I haven't given it enough chance yet. But we'll see. I don't know. I don't know why it's hard to, like, it really squeaks. You can tell that it's really trying hard to push out the glue. Like, it's not easy. But that's okay. I could try switching the bottle to see if it's got something to do with the bottle. Okay. Oh, get down there, splatter. So I'll put the splatter on the tag, and I'll put some on top of the little flag, but I will ink these separately and I will staple them on. And these are a bunch of little circles, so I gotta get this one up first. And then this one will go in like that. You love yours? Your hands love yours, yeah. And that's what I was hoping too. But we'll see. Like I said, I haven't really been using it that much because I've been doing other sorts of projects. So I haven't needed my little kind of glue thing since really I made Christmas cards. Oh, it's going to go this way. No, I don't want that, so I'm going to lift it up and put the glue on it like that because I don't want it to stick down. Especially with the amount of time we are spending doing stuff on the design team. I know we are busy, but it's great. As long as the interest is there, then it's all good. I might slow down a little bit in the summer which Heather already knows. Like, slow down. I might go to one class for July and one class for August. But actually, I'll still have to do 2 classes in July because we'll have to do our gel print session again for the next 3 months. So there'll be a couple classes there, but just to give me some, it's kind of I refocus my creative energy into my gardens, and it kind of just rejuvenates me. You have to make sure it is seated properly in the handle. Sometimes it pushes back a bit. Thanks, Judy. I'll have a look at it. Like I said, I really haven't used it that much. Forgot where I was going to put the star. I think it was right in here. That's where it's going anyway. So, and here's a little splat here. And I will probably incorporate more of those extra bits that I cut out after I do my highlighting. Need to showcase my garden and some of the stuff you are showing. Well, anybody that's on my Attic Inspire Crafter page, like I have an actual website called atticinspirecrafter.ca, and last year, maybe not last year, I can't remember, but I did a lot of garden stuff, and even on my personal page, that's where I post all my garden stuff. So just Sherry Jackson. I kind of keep my garden on that and try to keep Attic Inspired just for paper crafting so people don't get confused, but sometimes they overlap. Well, all the beautiful paper that's coming out, I'll definitely have to do some garden photos. And gardening is kind of like paper crafting. It's, you know, you try it, and it might work one time you do it, and then the next time you attempt it, it's a total flop. And we're always learning. I'm certainly not a professional gardener, but my husband and I, that's one thing we share in common. We both like being out and gardening and growing pretty things, so it's time for us to be together too. We are at 123. How are you doing? So I think right now I'm going to do some stamping. That's my little tag trio that I have to, I'll ink the edges and staple it on. This is just extra papers. And like if you wanted to, you could even add extra tags on the inside of the tags. I love this one. I love it. I won't be throwing any of that away. What? Keep lives separate? Is that a thing? Oh, you're cute. Okay, what did I say? Stamping. I'm stamping. Chicken wire. I don't think I'll use the chicken wire today. I do like these little, they're called cups. I do like them. You know, first time that you use your stamp, just kind of run your fingers over it. Sometimes I'll take an eraser and just gently scuff it up. It just helps to condition it so it will take ink better. And what do I have for ink? I did bring out some colors, but I think I want something very neutral. So I have a gray here, and it's an archival ink. And when I'm doing journaling, I don't really focus that much on like an ink block or anything like that. It's just put it down, you get what you get. You don't throw a fit. That's a Tim Holtz thing. 1, 2, 3 of that. I'm just going to wipe this stamp off. So you took all the gel printed pages and then cut them all up into different pieces and tags and things. Yes, I did. That is what I did. So I did two things. I cut them into, I used half of the sheet to cut just into strips and rectangles and squares to lay the vertical and horizontal pieces. And then the other half of the sheet, that's what I used to cut the All in Create dies with. So like really this is all I have left of what we gel printed for this particular class, plus the bits and pieces from the die set. Now these little numbers from Hero Arts Ledger, that one I am going to get a little block for, just because the numbers are so eensy weensy themselves. And there's a saying on here too, life is great big canvas and you should throw all the paint you can on it. Isn't that nice? Danny K. So like there's itty bitty ones here. And I'm just going to randomly stamp a few of them. .015. I don't know if that resonates with anybody. And then we'll take that one out. And we'll take one of these. What is this? This is like a little print. I think I'm going to switch out my ink and do VersaFine Clair. It's just a VersaFine ink. I could be putting that upside down. I have no idea. I don't have my glasses on for one thing because, you know, it's a struggle. I have no idea if that writing is upside down or right side up. It's just a little itty bitty journal, but it's an interesting little. So I did 4, gotta do one more, just because in case anybody ever takes my journal and count what I put on there. Okay. Darren, it's not going to rain, is it?
I don't know.
Oh, my clothes are out there.
Yeah, well, keep on it.
Yeah, I'll be soon done anyway. And this is a larger one, so I think maybe I'm going to do a ground espresso. So this is permanent ink. It's important that you put permanent ink down so that anything else that we decide to do on top, it's not going to smudge your stamping, unless that is what you want it to do. Here, we got that number down. So it's starting to fill in, and I like to kind of keep my stamping in bunches as well. You know how I put my ink down kind of in bunches there, bunches there, bunches there. I like to kind of do the same for stamping. So like I kind of got a little bunch here, a little bunch here, little bunch here. I only have one random one there. So like I try to keep them together just so that it looks like, even though it's very organic and it's kind of just done willy-nilly, there is still some purpose behind it. Now there's another little writing one on here, and I always pulled way too much supplies for these classes. Like I only had to take this one stamp, really. This is another writing one, which I don't know which direction. Let me put it here, see if I can tell. Huh. I can't tell. Like a glue on my fingers. Just like packing. You're right. You always take too much. I'm just looking to see what else I want. So this one actually has number. I really like that stamp set. Again, my first time using it. It was in, I kind of have a stash that I keep to the side now that I get from Younique with intentions of using it and showing it being used. Usually it's always sold out before I get around to it, but I still have it kind of sitting there. And this stamp set was amongst that. So I'm glad I'm using it. And you'll notice when you stamp over anything that you've clear coated over, it kind of does do a little smudgy smudge, but that's okay. This is imperfection journaling. And I think that's all I'm going to do for stamping at the moment. It doesn't look like a lot, or it didn't feel like a lot, but it's made an impact. Like we have these bunches, and this, like I'm telling you, these bits from those die sets, it actually looks like it's a stamp. It's not. And hopefully I'll be able to outline that with my pencils. It will catch. I'll have enough tooth that will catch on it. Well, folks, I think this is where I will end our video for today. And as always, I will come back and show you the finished product. Diane, I always see a box for Sherry in the back and think, why is that sitting here and not with her? Because, Diane, I have a problem. I haven't used the stuff that I had shipped to me 3 months ago. It's a good problem. I'm not complaining. So I know I want to put some birds. When I say some, maybe 3. I just don't know where. Oh, hi, Lynn. It's not done yet. So I still got to do all my outlining. And for that, I will either use the Tim Holtz pencils or crayons and just like go in with the tip and then take a water brush and wet it. The other thing I use is like regular pencil crayon sometime, but then I also have what's called Derwent Inktense pencils. It's a water-based pencil with high pigment, and you can sharpen, like really sharpen it to get into fine edges. They are very expensive, and it's not something that I like to show very much because, you know, I want to be conscious of price tags of things. But if you're interested, please reach out to Heather. I'm sure she can special order. They're called Derwent, D-E-R. I got a bunch of stuff on them, that's why I can't move them. D-E-R-W-E-N-T, Inktense, I-N-K-T-E-N-S-E-L, one word, pencils. And I have the package of 36. You can get smaller packages, you can get big ones. You think you have some in at the store? Oh, well, I must go look, because that would be brilliant. And I do really like them. They do a fabulous job with details. Again, not a product I pull out a lot, but there it is. So this little guy, I'm going to ink him up separate, and I'm going to glue him right there. He'll show up really nice there. I have this one, or the yellow. Let's see, I feel like I have enough yellow on my page. Even if I just do one bird, I'm okay with that. If I do two, then I have to do three. So I might just do the one bird. This guy's kind of funky too. Oh, look, I'm drawn back to that yellow one. Isn't that awful? What is it with me and yellow today? And it's not like yellow's my favorite color. Brown's my favorite color. But for today, it's this yellow. I might even put him there. Anyway, you're going to see a bird, or two, or maybe three, on the page. That's the Tim Holtz birdie. Yes, it is. So I'm going to put a bird. The feathers, I don't think I'm going to include any of the feathers, unless I use it as an anchor for my sentiment, or something of that nature. But I have some feathers cut out, and I have some birds cut out. And I still have lots and lots of bits and pieces from the tag sets cut out. So you might see some of that on there as well. But the biggest thing is going to be the sunshine. We need it all and want it all, yes, all the time. But the biggest thing is going to be the outlining. And that's going to make the most dramatic impact on this page. I might put a little bit of thin string through here. I might put on some rub-ons. I'll have a look. And I also got these from All and Create. It's a bunch of clocks. They're black and white, so you can color them to color match if you want, but I like them for that black and white. When you get really busy with patterns and colors, even when you're scrapbooking, you gotta have enough neutral to balance the eye. And a lot of times I'll pull in something that's very neutral just to kind of refocus. So that's kind of my color suggestion. But yeah, these are cute. These are All and Create. They're coming out with more and more new things, and I have to say I'm loving them. So I have enough clocks there to do me a lifetime. But I like them. Okay, gang. Well, we'll sign off, and I will see you on live tonight. And when I get this done, I'm not sure when, I will post the finished look. Thanks so much for joining me today. As always, have a terrific evening, and we'll see you soon.